Okay.
Good morning, ninth grade.
Good morning, ninth grade.
We're on week 6. Can't believe we're on week 6, but we are on week 6.
Yep. We got maybe 5 more weeks of this stuff left, you guys, so buckle in.
All right, I'm going to share my screen, and I think that everyone will be able to see this. All right. So today we are working on enhancing a poem, focus objective 12. I can enhance my movie or character poem by adding poetic devices. We will take a mindful minute as a group if you are with us in the live session. If not, please take at least 60 seconds at some point during your day to take a deep breath, take a few deep breaths, and just empty your mind, center yourself, ground yourself, take a pause, and then begin the work when you feel like you're in the best state that you can be in.
Hopefully you've kept up with the work. Hopefully if you've just joined us, you've gone back and completed some older assignments. You're going to choose either the character poem that we introduced and was due on the 14th, or the movie poem that we introduced and was due on the 16th. So you can just scroll back in Google Classroom under the classwork and find those 2 assignments.
It was during the spring break week.
Yeah. Pick one of those 2 assignments and complete it. It involves watching 1 episode of a show that you like or 1 movie, and then writing a poem about that TV episode or that movie. So pretty simple, a little bit fun. Please go to all your classes today before you make the excuse that you have to watch TV for school.
Yeah.
But once you have that in your hand, or rather on the cloud.
And most of you already have it, but for those of you that don't.
Yeah. We don't want to punish you by making you go back and do this, but we got some of the best work I've seen out of the 9th grade through these assignments.
Yeah.
And so I would like to continue to work with them because I think there's really good poetry in here, and I'm curious to see what happens. So I think it's not that I'm punishing, it's not that we're punishing you by making you go back and do this. We're giving you the opportunity to do what I think a lot of your classmates found to be really enjoyable. Yeah.
Taking something that actually came out really great and making it absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So last week we worked with alliteration and onomatopoeia, and this week we're going to just transfer that and begin to work with it again. But this time, instead of working with those 2 devices in poems that we give you, you're going to revise the poem that you already wrote by just adding alliteration or onomatopoeia. So just as a refresher, remember that alliteration is the repetition of letters or sounds in the beginning of closely connected words. So in this example, rainbow-colored rattlesnakes went through the rainforest rapidly. We have that repetition of R. Rainbow, rattlesnakes, rainforest, and rapidly.
And then onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like the sound it's describing. Hiss sounds like a hiss. Vroom sounds like a motorcycle engine. And it's a word as well. And you can also just make up what sounds sound like with a new combination of letters. All of my Wolverine fans out there know what sounds like. Zzz is either snoring or bees buzzing.
Yeah.
Buzz is also really good onomatopoeia.
Buzz, yeah.
Shh. It sounds like me going shh.
It looks like what it sounds like.
It also sounds like what it sounds like.
Also that.
Yeah.
So how do you add the poetic device? You want to first read through the poem that you wrote, and using those 4 tips that we started with 2 weeks ago, you want to read the poem out loud. Look for any places where sound exists in your poem already and see if you can add onomatopoeia if you don't already have it. If there's not a reference to sound, see if there's any places where you could add sound to enhance the poem, or if you want to change it a little bit to add the sound, that's totally fine as well. And then look at some of the lines that you've written and try to change the words to reflect that device of alliteration. So we're going to model this for you in the sample poem that we wrote for the movie Molly's Game. And this poem was written by Miss Laredo and Mr. Allen, but we wrote it through the voice of the lawyer. The speaker is the lawyer from the movie. So if you've never seen the movie, it doesn't matter. It's just consider that there's a lawyer who represented somebody in a case in this poem.
We're going to take 2 minutes and just let you read through the Molly's Game poem. It's the same poem on the left side of your screen and the right side of your screen, except for you see that we've added alliteration and onomatopoeia. The alliteration is highlighted in yellow that we added, and the onomatopoeia that we added is highlighted in teal.
If you can, and you're not with us for the, obviously if you're joining in at your own time, pause the video now and read through the poem on the left side right here that I am hovering my mouse over. And then when you unpause it, we're going to explain the colors that Mr. Allen just explained.
Yeah.
So let's go through the example for alliteration first. All we did was we took this stanza from the poem and we added alliteration. So literally, if you look at the stanza, we just added 2 words to the original text. I never thought I'd be where I am now. Never thought I'd be stuck between a place where cushioned comfort and dreadful discomfort meet. So we changed that from where comfort and discomfort meet, and we added alliteration, cushioned comfort and dreadful discomfort meet.
The third stanza, the original line was like a snake wrapping itself around its prey. And we went in and we added more S words to describe the snake, like a slithering snake sneaking itself around its small prey. So that just increases the snakiness of that line with all of those S's tying to the snake. And then finally, in the last stanza, we added the sound of the gavel. So that gives the readers of the poem a real sound of what it's like in the courtroom with the judge.
So these 3 very small shifts in the poem, they, first of all, they address the alliteration and the onomatopoeia that we want to see, but also they enhance the poem a little bit in a couple of different ways, which we'll talk about. So if you're with us for the live session, we will have shared some student work and some student enhancements of the poem. What your responsibility is to do, resubmit one of the poems that you added with alliteration and onomatopoeia. You have to make at least 2 modifications to the poem. So you have to do one example of alliteration in any line in any place of your poem, and one example of onomatopoeia in any line in any place in your poem. If your poem doesn't have sound in it, you're going to have to go back and add sound. So you might have to make a couple changes to your poem. They might not just be additions, they might be changes. You are more than welcome to make more than 2 changes if you would like to really challenge yourself. Don't overdo it just for the sake of doing it, but if it works and you think you can make it work and it will enhance your poem, by all means, try it out.
All of your poems were about either a movie or a TV show. Movies and TV shows have lots of sounds.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to say, but there's no sound in my movie, because that's not true.
You guys can do it. You did such a great job with the first round of poems. So we want to really give you the opportunity to go back and work with some of the really great work that you've already started and created and just make it even stronger than it already is.
Yeah. And I didn't want you guys to just turn these poems in and not think about them again, because I think they're really good. And some of you can also take this opportunity to maybe look at the suggestions that we made when we gave these poems back to you in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Good luck.
Good luck out there. See you in the online world.
See you in the online world.